In the beginning, it was dark. Not dark like at night time, because at night time you can still see stars, and you can still see street lamps, and there might be a glow of light from the city if you went outside, but really dark. Like there wasn't any light. Like there was no light. You could not see your hand in front of your face. It was so dark, and it was so cold. Please hold on to some of this ice to remind you how cold it was. It was very, very cold. And then suddenly there was a burst of energy. Some people call it a big bang, but it can't have been a bang, because to have a bang, you need to have an atmosphere. You need to have particles to vibrate together to make a bang. And so it was silent. And space was created. Space was created by this large energy release. And slowly all the particles started joining together, holding hands, creating a dance together. And you know what? Some of those particles were antimatter. And if you bumped into an antimatter, both you and antimatter disappear. But only there's a very, very small proportion of times, because most interactions, matter disappeared. But very, very occasionally, matter bounced into matter and formed bigger matter. Amazing! At the same time, it formed space and time. This was a long, long time ago. This was before Christmas. And it was before the Christmas before that, and before you were born, before your parents were born, before Grandma was born, before New Zealand became here, before there was a planet, before there was a sun, before there were all the stars in the sky. We had this big energy. This energy caused so much disturbance, so much chaos. There was lots of things swirling around. You know, when you've been swimming and you've been doing a whirlpool, you know, that's swirling around. And you just float. Once the energy is going like in a river, you just float down the river. The energy takes you and the matter is scooped together. And when the matter was scooped together, it gets really, really hot. You know, if lots of you stay in a tent and it gets too many bodies in the tent, it gets really, really hot. The same with matter. All throughout the universe, we have galaxies. All throughout the galaxies, we have solar systems. A solar system means that there is a sun at the middle of an array of planets. We call our sun the sun. But when we look at other people's suns, we call them stars. When we look at other suns around, we call them stars. So our sun was born. And our sun is not just a circle, but it has fiery arms that come out from our sun, and lots of energy comes out. You've watched a fire and the flames flicker all over the place. Well, our sun is like that. And this little black dot here shows you how big Earth is compared to our sun. That we're so small that we're even a very tiny part of one of the smallest flames. This is our sun. Our sun has a necklace of 9 planets. This story was written at a time where they believed they had 9 planets. For a while, scientists said, no, there are only 8 planets. And then they said, no, there are 9. And they keep changing their mind. Sometimes Pluto's in, sometimes out. The definition of planet is something that walks, or the wanderer. Because when you look at the stars, each night the stars seem to be in the same place, but some of the bright white lights seem to be moving against a backdrop. They were the wanderers, and that's where the word planet comes from. Planet, the wanderer. And so all of our planets, except for one, have a name, are named after Greek gods. That one is Earth. Earth is not named after a god because at the time They thought that our planet was bigger than everything else, and they thought that all of the sun and everything revolved around our planet. We know now that's not true. We know that our planet is one of many, many planets that all go around and around the sun, because we're all made from the same swirling. It's the same energy that created the sun, that created all these planets. And they all go in the same plane. It's all flat. They don't wobble around all over the place. It's just in the same plane. They all have a name. They all have a story. And you'll be able to find out about those stories. But as I say, when the matter was swirled together and squashed into one place, it gets very, very hot. And here you can see that the planet, our planet, the Earth, is very, very hot. The sun is shining. And these are angels. They're not really angels, it's just a way of us explaining. They take the hot air up. But as they get hot higher and higher, they get cool. So they drop the cold air down, and the cold air looks like cold water. It's not really cold water. It's just a story. There aren't real angels like this. This is a story that shows us how the hot rises and the cold comes down. And because this is so hot, this happens for a long, long time. And can you see that when the water comes back down to Earth, steam creates a cloud layer. We see that with clouds. Lots of clouds today. But the planet was overcast for a long, long, long time while it was cooling. Cooling for a very, very long time. Can you see here, this is just a ball of fire. But as the ball of fire got cold, a little bit like, has anyone ever had hot chocolate? Where you've left it a little bit too long and it turns into a skin on the top. And that skin, if you make it with milk especially, started to form on the surface of this planet. There were some parts that were still really hot. We know those as volcanoes. But the skin started to form. As the volcanoes became dominant, they started to hurl ash and dust into the air and a thick layer of black smoke. The sun was sad. The sun could not see her daughter the Earth. Was the sun really sad? It's a story. We're talking about the sun as if it's a person. After a while, the water cooled the Earth so much that the water could stay on the surface of the planet. And here on the surface it stayed, and you can see blue everywhere where the water was. And when the water was able to stay, then the cloud umbrella left, and the sun could see her beautiful daughter wearing a beautiful blue cloak. A real blue cloak? A pretend blue cloak. This picture is called The Sun and Her Beautiful Daughter. Inside our planet, there's still mostly hot. And it's only this very, very little layer on the outside that is cold enough for us to walk on. Mostly, it's hot, hot, hot in there. The white stripe around the outside is the atmosphere. The blue stripe around the outside is the hydrosphere, or biosphere. Bio means life, and where there's water, there's life, and life needs water. And that's why the biosphere and the hydrosphere are here. The black line underneath is the lithosphere, and when you dig in the garden and you come up with soil, that's what you're digging into. And then we have the barosphere. So here is our sun, and we're very grateful for the sun, because the sun gives us warmth and light and energy. And remember, all of the hot energy that is inside the planet came originally from the sun. You wouldn't be able to get up in the morning if there was no sun, because there would be no morning. You wouldn't be able to get up because there'd be no gravity. The gravity comes from the spinning of the Earth. The mass of the Earth holds us onto our planet. What do you think about the creation creation of our sun and our planet. Back into their first story. Any feedback? What worked? What worked? What didn't work?
The eye contact, us reading it off something, connection we're drawing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any other aspects of the storytelling work for you?
I want to chime in with JJ how you had pictures, but the pictures were relevant to what you were telling us, and that you kept reiterating that this is a story.
And 6-year-olds get it, actually. 5-year-olds not so much. It's really interesting. Some 7 and 8s, I find it really tricky, but if you say it, then they know, now I'm safe, okay? I know what you're telling me is true, not fantasy. Okay?
We gave a connection. We kind of get a connection, hot like being a long time ago after Christmas, last Christmas, you know, parent, so you put not true context, but you gave them some context.
What do we call that in storytelling when we use another idea to help carry our message? Metaphor. Okay? Like it being hot in a tent.
Yeah.
Meta to change, metaphor. Metamorphosis is the changed room. All good? Useful? God who has no hands, got it? Easy, easy, easy. You can see where the ice and the comes in, where the hot, cold, where the idea
I
comes
like
in.
the hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a moral
Visualisation.
to the story? Do stories
Gratitude. Always gratitude.
gratitude?
Thank you to the sun. And in fact, there's a yoga position called
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, as I say, there's 6 charts. We've got a lot to get through, but you understand what I'm talking about. I started to look at 7 as a gratitude statement to focus back onto the sun.